In today's episode, we talk about reusing, recycling, and repurposing at the Pines Dinner Theater. But it's not what you think. Stay tuned because we're about to go behind the scenes with scenery at the Pines Dinner Theater as we escape the ordinary. Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Pines Dinner Theater, online. Now let's jump right to it here and get to today's topic. A few little secrets and trivia about scenery in our shows. Now when you come to a show at the Pines, we hope you're always entertained by the big picture, including the performances by the actors and musicians along with the technical aspects, like the lights, costumes, and even scenery. But what you may not have noticed is that, believe it or not, it is very rare for a show to have scenery that was all built and painted specifically for that show. In fact, off the top of my head, I honestly can't think of a single show we've done that hasn't repurposed or recycled at least something. Of course, sometimes this is completely hidden from the audience, like if we take apart a set from a show and then reuse the materials to construct a new set, and this happens all the time. With most of our shows, before things get painted, you'll see a rainbow of colors on the set, all representing different productions that the materials have been in. It's not uncommon to be able to look at the set before painting has happened and see 3, 4, or even 5 different past shows that we've recycled material from. But, while that is a great way for us to be economical and also reduce the materials we use, there are also some things that may be a bit more obvious, if you're watching out for them during a performance. And what exactly am I talking about? Well, instead of just trying to explain, let me show you a few examples. I've compiled some photos here from throughout the years to help explain just exactly what I'm talking about. Now, back in the beginning of 2015, we did a show called E-Love, a musical.com A-D. Yeah. The premise was about 2 lonely singles looking for love via the internet. But this story isn't about the show, it's about the sets for the show. So take a look. Do you see the bar that she's standing at? It was built specifically for this production, to a very specific size, so that it was just big enough to hold her laptop and fishbowl. Yes, there was a fish in the show. But small enough that it didn't take up the entire space in her apartment. But this isn't the last time that bar would pop up on stage here at the Pines. Take a look at our production of Singin' in the Rain. Here's the scene at R.F. Simpson's house. You know, the one where he throws a party and Kathy Selden jumps out of the cake. Notice anything familiar in this scene? That's right. There it is. The bar from E-Love. You know, it's amazing what a new coat of paint and a different setting can do. But this little set piece wasn't finished yet. Let's fast forward to 2019 and Second Chances, a thrift shop musical. See something familiar? Yeah, you got it. There's that bar again. But now listen, I don't want to disappoint anyone, because those of you that come back to the Pines in the future, please don't keep an eye out for that bar. It was disassembled after Second Chances, and the wood was recycled into something totally different. Like I said, eagle-eyed guests can find fun little things like this all the time. Here's a few more fun examples. In 2013, we had a blast all summer long with our production of Footloose. Now take a look at the finale of Act 1 here. Notice the back wall of the set? But before we talk exactly about the back wall of the set in Footloose, here's a bit of trivia about our theater in general. Our stage has extremely limited backstage space, so that back wall for Footloose was designed to portray 3 different locations in the show. The Burger Blast, the Country Dive Bar in Act 2, and this scene for the finale in the school gym at the end of Act 1. Now, Footloose was also the show that we managed to make a bridge the full width of the stage appear in under 5 seconds every performance. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, back to this wall. In 2014, we did a brand new show called Here Comes the Bride, the story about a young reporter hired to write an advice column for brides-to-be. Recognize the wall? You guessed it. Same wall, just repainted and repurposed from Footloose. And while it's hard to see, the cityscape that is beyond the newspaper's wall is the same backdrop that was also painted for the opening scene taking place in Chicago from Footloose. And to really mess with your head, see the desk that is in the left-hand side of the photo? Look familiar? You got it. It was the same desk that was used in E-Love. But back to the wall, because we're not quite finished talking about it yet. Let's jump ahead to 2016 and Honky Tonk Angels. What do you see? Yep, Act 2 of the show, and there's that wall again. Like I said, If you pay close attention, little things like this are all around you every time you visit us here at the Pines Dinner Theater. Now, for our next example, let's talk about history before the Pines Dinner Theater even existed. Many years ago, we were touring the area with a little show called the Kutztown Country Jamboree. This show was a delightful mix of down-home comedy and great local musicians performing in a variety show atmosphere. We affectionately referred to it as a mix of the Grand Ole Opry and hee-haw. The show featured quite a few amazing country, folk, and bluegrass musicians, and honestly, probably the funniest country comedian the world has ever seen. And when we would take the show to different venues, we'd travel with a hand-painted backdrop to help set the tone of the show. Now, while we eventually stopped touring the Kutztown Country Jamboree, we kept the backdrop, and when we relaunched the show as the Pines Country Jamboree over 10 years later, we knew exactly what backdrop to use. And while the Jamboree hasn't been on our stage in a few years, we still have that backdrop. So, let's take a look at Heart to Heartland, a show that takes place in a campground, in the mountains. Backdrop look familiar? It should, because it's the same mountains that have set the stage for the Jamborees for so many years. Also, I want you to take a notice of the tall pine trees in the background of the shot. You guessed it, those trees weren't constructed originally for Heart to Heartland, but instead, originally they were made for Almost Heaven, the Songs of John Denver, a show that we presented almost 10 years ago. Now, while it's hard to see those trees in the picture, I assure you, they are the same trees. And finally, adapting things for a show isn't just limited to sets and backdrops. It's also something we do with light fixtures. Let's take a look at this picture of a Pines Country Christmas from 2019. Those flickering lanterns certainly help set the stage for the show, but this isn't the first time those lanterns have been on stage. Let's take a look here at Nunsense Jamboree, where the Little Sisters of Hoboken take their act on the road to Nashville, Tennessee. Notice the two lanterns hanging inside the barn? Same lanterns. And one other really fun bit of trivia about the lights in Nunsense Jamboree. You see that light hanging in the center of the doorway? If you recognize that light, you've been seeing shows with us for longer than the Pines has been in existence. Anyone want to take a shot at where that light was seen before? Now, if you're having trouble, I'll help you out. Before the Pines Dinner Theater opened in 2005, there was a dinner theater in Kutztown called Blatt's Dinner Theater. And in the theater were railings with light posts along the aisles, and that light you see in the Nunsense Jamboree set is an original light fixture from Blatt's Dinner Theater. Just a little nod of thanks to the theater that got us started as the Pines. Like I've said before, fun little things like this are all around you when you visit us at the theater. And while we hope that the overall picture that we've created is so amazing that you'll never ever notice set pieces or furniture being repurposed for different shows, I thought it might be fun to share this little secret with you today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, like us on Facebook and Instagram, and help spread the word about the Pines Dinner Theater. And if you wouldn't mind, please don't forget to grab a Pines Dinner Theater gift certificate on our website. We appreciate all the love and support from everyone, and even a small purchase helps us survive these crazy times. Well, that just about does it for this episode. We will see you again here real soon as you escape the ordinary at the Pines Dinner Theater. Online.